Toneo, I want to talk a little bit about the slot back core. Every year is a new year. You got to get, as Coach says, build that culture. You're now a senior leader. Is it happening?
Definitely. The A-back group is working very hard. We have 4 seniors, and we took control of the group from last year, and it's going to be a good season for us.
One of the things that Coach Niamat has talked about is that you lost 2 starters, but the way that you all rotate, you and Calvin and Dyson probably played as much as DeMond and Brandon Sanders did last year, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. When they came off the field, it was one of us coming on the field, so we played a lot of football.
What, in terms of the younger guys, what do you try to teach them? And they still say A's make plays. Is that still around?
Yes, sir. We say it. That's never going to stop.
Okay.
Never going to stop.
So how do you teach these younger guys about what a Navy slot back must do?
Definitely, we watch a lot of film, and Coach does a great job actually, and pulls up film from like years ago. It looks ancient, but just to see the tenacity, you know, the unselfishness, and it's just the culture of our position, and they see it on the film, and then the seniors, we take control and we show them on the field.
So Coach Niamat said earlier in the preseason that he looked at the depth chart, and there's guys in slot back that are on 4th or 5th on the depth chart who are good players that can play. He just was saying how deep this position is. Do you agree with that?
Definitely. It's always been a deep position, and there's a lot of guys that can play, so that just means we got to come ready to play every day, every practice, and compete, and the best will play.
So in high school, what type of role did you play? Were you a traditional tailback type role, or what did you do in high school?
Definitely a traditional. We ran the I, and
you were back there,
definitely
right, following a fullback into the hole.
Definitely. At my first high school in Ohio, we ran a T, so I kind of acclimated with running sideways, you know, for a pitch or whatnot. So it was the same.
So coming here, though, the slot back is asked to do so much. He's got to block, and he's got to block a whole bunch of different ways. He's got to block down, he's got to block out, then he's got to catch passes, both a wheel route or down the middle. He's got to take the pitch. I mean, it's just so much that they ask out of this position.
Definitely, it is a lot, but we step up to the plate and we take on the challenge.
What in terms of also, one thing you can tell these young slot backs is that they may not be in the rotation out on the field with the offense, but a lot of them are going to have to play special teams. That's always been a staple of this position, is that these guys got to play special teams. Isn't that correct?
Definitely. That's actually how I got my, got to travel my freshman year. I didn't play that much at A-back. I actually started on kickoff. So the A-backs and young A-backs, they find themselves on special teams their first couple of years, and then they work their way onto the field as an A-back. So it's not common.
All right, last but not least, Coach O'Rourke has been working with the slot backs your entire career. Is he a real tough, mean type of guy, Coach O'Rourke?
Coach O'Rourke is a loving guy. He's very high energy, very intense, and he gets after you. He just wants you to be the best, and he wants to be the best. So it's very high intensity.
But in the end, you know he cares about you.
Definitely, always, always.
All right, well, how's this slot back core coming along? Coach Niamat says it's one of the deepest groups on the team. I think we've heard that before. Is it still the case?
I hope so. I mean, we got some guys that are working hard. You know, we try to create a lot of depth. We play a lot of guys. Got a lot of people, that have played in games, and we got a lot of young guys that have worked hard enough to get that shot. They're practicing hard. I like to keep them all engaged, all going, paying attention in the meetings, asking questions, because they know they could be in at any point in the game, and the way I treat it and the way Coach Niamat treats it, if you travel and you're going to be on the plane or on the bus or, dress, then you got to be ready to play, So I'm not traveling anybody that's not going to play on a special team, that's not going to play in a game. Now, obviously, some guys will play more than others, but if you're suited up on the sideline, you better be ready to go. And I don't want them to prepare like a backup. I treat them all like they're starters, like they need to be, and that's how they need to treat the situation, treat themselves. Because it's happened a lot of times over the years. Guys play 5 plays, but they might be the 5 biggest plays of the game, or they're in for 2 plays, and one of the plays they're in, they make a huge play. So I think the more you create that sense of urgency and the preparation, that they prepare that way, and that's how you create the depth and get the guys ready to go.
Pretty reassuring for you as a coach to have 3 guys coming back who have seen significant playing time in Toneo, Calvin Cass, and Dyson Romain.
It is. Truthfully, it could be a bad thing if they didn't practice hard or they were lazy or, they felt entitled or I'm a senior. But the fortunate part is they're not like that. They're the 3 hardest workers of the group. That's not the case all the time. That's not the case everywhere. They could easily have come back and said, hey, I got a spot. Coach knows me. I'm ready to play. I'm just going to play. And none of them have approached it that way. They've all, taken the they've all taken the the approach that this is my senior year. It's all on us, and we put a lot on them, and they practice that way. And I couldn't be prouder of them the way they prepare. And they're going to have good years, and they're going to earn it to have a good year. They're not going to just stumble out and something good's going to happen for them. I try to tell them all the time, the harder you work, the more good things are going to happen to you. It's just got a way of working itself out. So whether it's karma or what, but they put in the work, they're putting in the time, and they'll get rewarded for it.
Dyson has shown that he can be a game-breaking type of player. He's one of the fastest slot backs you've had, a long strider. What can you say about Dyson, and do you think he's ready to have an outstanding senior season?
Oh, no doubt. I think he's always ready. He was ready last year, the year before. He's a special young man. He's the total package. As a person off the field, the character, and we're out of school with, a lot of people here. Obviously, are high character, great people, or they couldn't get in school here. He's in the top 2% of that. He's a special kid. He's going to do special things, obviously, once he leaves here. But he's also a heck of a football player, man. We're lucky to have him. And like I said, he's one of the hardest workers on the team, let alone not just the group, but the whole team in general. And I think he's going to have a great year. We're expecting him to, and I'd be shocked if he didn't. So we're trying to keep everybody going the same path, but. If his numbers call, it got called a couple times last year. He made some big plays, had some big games, and sometimes he's going to be asked to block, but he's up for whatever's asked of him.
And what does Toneo bring to the table?
A lot. He's the consummate, team guy. And I had a conversation recently with a guy I was talking about Toneo, and Toneo's not a stat sheet stuffer. He's not the guy that's going to look at the box score and go, wow, he had a great game, did this. Only people that knows he played good are all the coaches sitting and watching the table on Sundays and Mondays when we watch it. We say, because there's a lot of times where he could be the guy, and it's a situation, and hey, Toneo, I need you to do this. Yes, sir. He goes in the game, he does whatever's asked of him, and so he's not gonna get the glory. He's not gonna score every touchdown. He's not gonna be the guy all the time, and have his name up in lights. And that's really, could be a bad thing. But for a team like we have here, and to have the goals that we have, and to do the things we want to do, it takes a whole team full of guys like him. And he's the guy. He's Dyson is too. But they're the guys that the selflessness, the team first guys, and we live it, and especially at our position, you got to live it. If you don't, you can't play, because you're going to be asked to do a lot of different things. And the guy next to you in the meeting room, we talk about it all the time. The guy next to you is the guy counting on you to make the block, so you're not going to let him down. He's not going to let you down. So the more you build that camaraderie, that love for one another, I think the harder they play and the better they play.
Calvin Cass came here as a wide receiver. He seems like a guy that has been utilized in the passing game, is very good at that. Is that a kind of his special role?
Yeah, he originally came as a A-back, as a slot, and then we moved him to wide out because we needed some depth at wide out, and then needed some depth back at A-back, and he's talented catching the ball. He's very, very, very good. Good route runner. Another solid kid, does what you ask, and is going to bust his butt. So he provides a huge lift in the passing game, but he's also a really good runner. So we don't have guys that we say are you're only this or you're only this. I think the more you do of that, then the worse you'll be as a team and as a unit. Defenses start keying, hey, this guy catches the ball every time, this guy runs the ball every time,
this guy blocks.
Yeah, this guy blocks every time. You can't have that, and that's been the case. At times. In the years past, 10, 12, but you can't have that, especially in this offense. Everything's got to be the same. You got to have, your wideouts got to be able to catch and block and run. Your slots got to be able to catch, block, and run. They got to be able to do everything. Now, some will do it better than others, which is okay, but they can't be a liability. They can't be, oh, he's in the game, we're throwing the ball, timeout, one of those deals. So they all. Some guys catch the ball better, but they all can catch the ball. They all can run with the ball. They all can block. Like I said, but knowing the situation calls for it, they'll rise to the challenge.